Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. And of course, I'm your host, Leon Big Love Wilson. Well, we're 5 days in to the Trump years. And this is Trump 2.0. This is part two of a two-part episode where on the first episode, I talked about what we need to do to prepare. This is going to be a roller coaster ride, and what we have to do is try to just stay on the rails because it's going to get bumpy. On that first episode, I talked about a couple of things that we should do so far as financial, being able to communicate with other groups like the NAACP and other organizations. The number one thing was we needed to connect to good news sources, not the CNNs and the Fox News, but we need to find reputable news sources so our news is as true as possible, so then we can prepare ourselves, so we can strategize on what we need to do next. Today I'm going to talk about three new things that we need to do as well. Number one is going to be strengthening our community networks. This is going to be key. Our community networks is our relationships with our neighbors, community organizations. If you have a neighbor, maybe you live in the center and you have a neighbor on either side, or you're in an apartment and you have a neighbor on either side in your apartment. Maybe you only talk to one of those neighbors. Well, I think you need to get to know your neighbors. I think you need to talk about it, especially if they're African American. But whoever it is, you need to know your neighbors. You need to build up relationships with people where you can share information moving forward. You need to belong to different groups, whether it's a neighborhood watch group or something in the neighborhood. Maybe you get a lot of people together to discuss what's going on in the world, what's going on in the United States during these Trump years. There's going to be dramatic changes that we need to prepare for. So let's get involved with various groups, talk to our neighbors. Maybe you only know one neighbor on one side. Well, let's get to know the other one. Let's have a dinner or a get together of some types where you can start to learn what your neighbors are thinking. This is going to be very important. Second thing, voting rights. Now, a lot of times we only come out to vote for the president. Well, we see how that's been working out for us. It doesn't. What we need to get involved in is voting at the local level. We need to start voting for school board or aldermen's local positions. We need to get involved. We need to run for these positions. I ran for a trustee in my local community. I didn't win, but just running, I got to meet all the people. I became friends with the mayor, so many other people. And because of those friendships, because of those relationships that I created, it opened up a whole world of opportunity for me later on down the line. We have to get involved at the local level and develop these relationships, which in turn is developing these networks, right? Here's another thing that you really need to think about, and we don't. You need a lawyer. Now, no, there's nothing wrong. You need a lawyer to call just in case if something happens. Now, usually what happens is something happens to us where we need an attorney and we don't know one. And so we go online, we try to call people up, and we go through this whole process of trying to find an attorney that may not be the right attorney for us. Well, if we go through that process now, while we don't need it, then later on, we'll already have that number in our phone to call, and we can get the process moving a lot faster. Remember, my motto is, if you're ready, You don't have to get ready. So now is the time to get ready. I'm not saying that you will need a lawyer, but I'd rather have one and not need it than need one and not have it, right? So we know about that. Please leave a comment below. Uh, I've talked to so many people. There's some people who left comments on my last episode that were so negative. I'm like, woo. Well, regardless, leave a comment below. Let me know what you're thinking. Uh, I feel like I'm getting ready for what's to come. If you look at the news, you'll see where it's going. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to see what's happening. You don't have to be a genius to see that the Klan is mobilizing. Kentucky, which is right next to where I live in Ohio, they're sending out all these leaflets. They're getting people involved. They're trying to get young people who don't like women and don't like minorities to get together with them. They're appealing to the lowest level of our communities, of our society to join. Something stupid is going to happen. You better believe that. And we don't want to be involved in that. We want to be above the fray. So let's get ready now. Until next time, be blessed, my friends. Be blessed.